I remember being really, really excited about it. I've always been quite a caring person and quite maternal, so I loved the idea of having little children to look after in the house. I didn't really have any sort of anxieties or worries about it sort of at the start. I think maybe as we sort of developed into fostering more and as we've been fostering longer, then I started to get worried about certain things, you know, seeing children who have experienced trauma, that's always difficult. I haven't necessarily got like a specific memory, but I remember like growing up, our household was always a busy one. There was always someone to talk to, always someone to play with. There was always something going on, which is obviously really nice. Recently, or about 2.5 years ago, I got married, and one of the children that we've fostered since she was 6, she's 17 now, and she was a bridesmaid at my wedding, so that was obviously a really lovely moment. And she's, you know, she's like my sister now, so obviously she would be a bridesmaid at my wedding. We also had our first ever placement was 2 children that went on to be adopted, but we kept in touch with them. And one of them recently had her 18th birthday party and we were invited. So that was like a really special moment to go and be part of that, and see how much like her life has changed and like, I guess like the really awesome woman that she's become as well. I think the hardest thing about fostering will always be the endings, when children move on. That first time that children leave, you know, your first placement, and I remember it vividly, our first placement when I was sort of living with my parents and I was a teenager, and the 2 children moving on to adoption and how hard that was. But we talked about it together as a family and we're like, well, actually, us feeling upset that they're leaving shows that we cared about them and that, you know, they should feel cared for, and that was our job to make them feel like that. So we've obviously done a good job because we're sad that they're leaving. Yeah, an ending to the placement, but not an ending to the relationship. There was obviously natural sibling rivalry. I mean, there always is going to be, but I think that's also really nice for those children to experience, because that is part of being in sort of a family, really, is that you have those natural conflicts and rivalries and you get through them together as a family, and you sit down and you talk about why everyone's upset and why we're all annoyed and why everyone's fallen out, and you work through it together. And actually that's like a really constructive thing for them to learn, but also for me to learn as well. Something that was really important for us was our parents made sure to spend time with us like one-to-one. So I went on a holiday with my mum when I was 16, just for a week, me and her, and both of my siblings did the same. I think definitely if I hadn't grown up in a fostering household, I wouldn't have become a foster carer. When you grow up in a household that like fostering is just your everyday normal, then you're kind of forced to confront that, like, we need more foster carers. There are all these children, you know, who need somewhere to live, and you kind of have to do something about it, or I feel like I had to do something about it. It's also really given me like insight into how lucky I am, into how privileged I am, to have, you know, a really big supportive family. I don't think I would be as empathetic, as caring, if my parents hadn't been foster carers. I just don't think I'd be aware of all of these things that happen in the world. I wish more people would do it, because so many people say, like, you know, I don't have the time to foster, or, you know, it doesn't work alongside work, or, you know, but like time doesn't have to be an issue, I don't think. Like, you know, if you can dedicate like a weekend every now and then, like, that is great in itself. So yeah, I wish more people would do that. Like, explore fostering at weekends or, you know, school holidays, because actually you can make such a difference to children in that time. And like, that's something we've seen. You know, we have really good relationships with some of the children who've come to us sort of like once every couple of weeks or once every month. Like, being part of their like extended support network, like the fun auntie and uncle that they come to and do fun activities with, and like to make such a difference in that child's life.